Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to your number one show, The Nigeria We Want, The Niger We Want. Welcome and thank you for joining us. With me are the panelists, Mr. Wale Olaiton, the Intercontinental. What will I even call you? I'm trying to work out another name for you, my brother. I know fit. So
Moderator will do for now.
okay, let's manage moderator. So you're welcome to the show, Mr. Wale Olaiton.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicky. It's good to be back on our number one show, The Nigeria We Want.
Thank you. And welcome, Mr. Elvis Unwachuku Igbokwenu.
Well, thank you, Dr. Vicky. Good evening, Wale. Good evening, viewers. Thank you for joining the show tonight.
Mm. So, Mr. Wale, we have another topic that we're dealing with today, which we will get to shortly. Mr. Yemi Shodimu sent a message. Is having some network issues. Is on a film somewhere. Is trying to do some of his work somewhere, filming and stuff in somewhere in Oyo State after he's saying or something like that. So the network isn't very good at that place. The network isn't even good in Lagos. So not to talk about that side of the country. So he's having serious issues, getting to connect with us. If he gets to, then we will see him. But if not, just for us to know that he's having issues. So it's good to be back on the show. You guys, you've done really well. While I'm away, the first week of me being away, I just love the newness of the impromptu way that Egbon Yemi, did community interview. It wasn't planned. We didn't even think about it. But the fact that, we were able to get ordinary people on the street to add their voices to ours, that was quite great. And the second week, I haven't really had time to look through because of network issues while I was away. Um, but I just want to say thank you for holding everything together while I was away. Thank you to both of you.
No problems. It's teamwork. I hope you pray for us and you pray
Oh
for the
yes,
show while you were in the Holy Land. I'm sure
definitely. I
you.
pray. I pray for Niger we want. I pray for each of the panelists, and I pray for our dedicated viewers, and our fans for their support and all that. And you know what other thing that I did when I was in Nigeria, I met with Egbonyemi at Ikeja City Mall. Not just with Egbonyemi, Tolufeli City was there, and a few other people. And everyone that was passing, we kept telling them about the Niger We Want show. Have you heard about the Niger We Want show? Oh, no, no. Okay, can you log on and check it out and like us, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and check us out from time to time? And people were quite receptive to that. That was quite interesting. We had a judge who actually spent some time with us there at the mall. Um, I even invited him to be one of our guest panelists, but unfortunately, the law won't permit him to be able to come onto the show. But he can provide us with um, like advice, and stuff like that. Well, Yeah, I just wanted to share that. I mean, we did something that we've never done before. Which, if I had time, more time, I would have loved to do more of that. You know, get more awareness and being able to speak to people directly. That was quite interesting.
Thank you.
Hmm. So let's get on to the show. Let's get started. Today is all about local government and the state government and what's been going on there. So I'll just pass the baton on to you, Mr. Wale Olaiton, to get us started in on today's topic.
Thank you, Dr. Vicky. If you just join us, you're on your number one show, the Nigeria We Want. On the show today, we discussing good governance in Nigeria, as we always do. What with the specific topic, states reject local government autonomy as National Assembly sends 35 constitutional amendment bills to President Buhari for assent. So that's a very important topic. So we'll be asking a very important question: who is afraid of local government autonomy? The local government is the third tier of governance in Nigeria, and it is the closest to the grassroots. So we'll be asking, what is stopping the autonomy of local government? But before we go into the real topic, we go to what is trending. So if you just join us for the first time, the what is trending segment of the program is where we look at trending socio-political and economic stories in the last 7 days. So I will go straight to Mr. Elvis Nwashiko to tell us what is trending for him.
Yes, Wale. I've actually just sent in a few videos, and those videos relates to what's trending for me. Is there any chance we can screen, just sort of share a few of them? I've got them in our, on our chat room. What's trending for me is the scramble. I mean, a related topic to the discussion we had last week. This the scramble for the new Naira notes. There have been accusations from the CBN governor. There've been blame game there going on. The CBN governor had alleged the issue is from the central bank. From the commercial banks. They have enough cash in supply that they provided to the banks. The banks, on the other hand, are claiming, they haven't got enough supplies, hence they can't really disburse what they haven't got. And the concern for me is the impact this scenario is having on our people. I've seen a lot of videos out there where people are actually scrambling to get these new Naira notes. I mean, it's not a good scenario where you have money in the bank and you can lay hands on your own funds. I've seen people. There's a bit of noise in the background there. I've seen people, actually, crying. I saw a lady expressing her displeasure. She's been suffering, not for lack of money, but the fact that she can actually lay hands on her own money in the bank. I've also seen videos of where POS business people actually selling same Naira notes to poor Nigerians. I was having a chat with someone in Nigeria this morning. This fellow stated for 10,000 Naira, he was made to, pay 2,000 Naira to get, 10,000 Naira. So it means, this person is 2,000 Naira short. So in that space, what needs to be done needs to be done. I know there's been an extension to the 10th of Feb for people to hand in their notes. But the irony is, people are handing in their notes and they're not getting the new notes. They're handing in their notes when they come into the bank to make withdrawals. They are being given the same old notes. So something really needs to be done in that space. So that's what's trending for me.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Washington. I think, on this, I'm with you. I saw a video of a lady that she nearly got herself naked in a bank. She was down to her underwears. It was a protest right there in the bank because she complained she couldn't get money. Her kids have not been able to go to school, and it was a protest right there in the banking hall on one of the major banks in Nigeria. Look, my take is that initially we blame the government and the CBN governor, but what I've seen in recent time is that we have to blame our people, unfortunately. It's just our people. We have this notoriety of just trying to make things so difficult for the people. The last week when we spoke about this topic, the searchlight was more on the government. But when you begin to see these new notes that are not available to an average Nigerian, if you begin to see them, the bundles of those new notes in parties, people spraying that new notes, you now know that some smart businessmen, I don't know how smart they are. It's just they are very, very insensitive and very wicked. What they've done is to make a big business out of that, giving that to people and obviously making money out of it. And the same thing with the POS, as you rightly mentioned, to the POS people, they now charge 20%. Like to collect 10,000 naira, they take 2,000 naira. That is 20%. And then you get, I was still discussing with a cousin, this evening. She actually told me, exactly what you just said, that, she's doing some ceremony tomorrow, and then she got some money in the bank. She couldn't even get the money, and she had to go to the POS, and she told me exactly what she said, that they
Where else does that happen, Wale? I mean, I just one more line to add. I see, I know the government, they have their issues, but also our people have problems as well. I'm not sure why people think it's okay for every problem that is out there. They see it as an opportunity to fleece people, to make money. I recall even when people had to obtain foreign currency. You had to go into the bank if you were traveling. And, some bankers took advantage of that, and, they were collecting all the monies and selling off to people at black market rate. I even recall my Nigerian account at the time, my account officer used my own account, signed my signature, and, got, an allocation of that dollar, even when I wasn't there. So people see opportunities where there are problems, and that's not a good thing. We need to start changing our attitude.
Absolutely. Everything is not about money. I need to think about the poor people. So, Dr. Vicky, what is trending for you?
Yeah, or still on that topic.
On that topic, okay.
Yeah, we did some giveaways. The first and the second week of show being back. Each of the people that we did give away to got $5,000. While I was away,
Naira, please.
Sorry.
If you give me $5,000, please put me on that list for giveaway.
So it was Tolu that I transferred that money to a few days ago because I couldn't do it while I was away. So she struggled to eventually get that money sent to them, but for sending the money, 5,000 each to I think about 9 people, the cost for her doing that was $200, 200 naira for each person through POS.
She was still lucky then. If she was to do it now, they would take 1,000 naira off each 5,000 naira.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. See, one thing that I see or that I saw when I was in Nigeria was that, anybody, it was more like when you think about the survival of the fittest, those fittest, no matter where they are, no matter what they do, as soon as they have a little bit of power over anybody else, they want to show and they want to deal with others. They want to make other people's lives miserable. That's something that I saw, and it was so common wherever you go, wherever you look. That there's no grace being given to people. There's no, you know, when you can't favor people, you can't show sympathy, you can empathize. uh, and people talk about poverty, they talk about suffering, but this suffering is being brought onto others by their own people. And it's just so sad. It's just so sad. And everywhere you look, so we blame the government, but sometimes we need to look in the mirror. Every one of us, check out in the mirror. What do you see when you talk to other people? How do you talk? When you are placed in a position, how do you treat other people? All those, we need to check and check our conscience. And
Absolutely.
Wale, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, sorry, yep.
No, no, you were still making your points. Yeah,
Yeah,
make your point. I was just,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, on the other point, when we talk about what is trending, and I know we're taking time on this. Um, Another thing that really saddened me, was seeing so many people, and I'm talking about thousands of people on the line trying to, in Ikeja, they were on the line to get their passport, to apply for passport, international passport. Thousands of people in the sun, baking sun, and they were there day in, day out, because everybody wants to jackpot, which says a lot about our country. What is going on? And I only left last week. After we left, all this problem about the system being down, there's no cash anywhere, people fighting one another just because of the struggle and all that kind of stuff. No wonder people want to japa and japa at all cost. I have some pictures to actually share a bit later when I get home. I'll share it on our platform.
No problem. Thank you very much, Dr. Vicky, so for sharing your thoughts on the current situation, especially around the situation around the money exchange and the current redesign, and within the economy. And thank you also, Mr. Nwachukwu. So we go straight to the key points. So we discussing good governance in Nigeria, with a specific focus on states reject local government autonomy, and National Assembly sends 35 constitution amendment bills to President Buhari, for assent. So we'll be asking, who is afraid of local government autonomy? So, courtesy of our producer, I quickly produce a preamble about that topic. A key feature of true federalism is autonomy of the federating units, which comes with resource control. As a country with diverse elements and various groups, Nigeria adopted a federal system of government to foster unity and togetherness. As such, it has three tiers of government, which are the states, which are the federal, the states, and the local governments. But the way and manner in which the so-called third tier of government, which is the local government, is run, has attracted criticisms necessitating constitutional review or amendment. After several attempts to amend the 1999 Constitution by the past National Assembly, the Ninth Assembly sent some bills to the state's houses of assembly for concurrence in accordance with the provisions of the law, but only 35 scaled through and passed by the State House of Assembly, while 44 constitutional amendment bills, including the bill on local government autonomy, were rejected, having failed to receive the approval of two-thirds of the state legislatures. The Senate has transmitted the 35 bills to the president for assent. So, who is afraid of local government autonomy? So I go straight to Mr. Onwashiku while we wait for Dr. Vicky to join us. So, why the opposition to the local government autonomy, Mr. Onwashiku?
Like everything else, Wale, a lot of leaders do not really understand, in my opinion, what governance is all about. A lot of people get in there for personal aggrandizement, what is in it for me, and then of course losing focus on the real picture, the bigger picture of going in there to actually serve the people. So the opposition cannot be far from the fact that people want to make, the governors obviously are making a kill from those allocations coming through them. And credit to President Mohamed Buhari in one of the statements he made, I saw online, that the system is so corrupt to the extent that governors are actually receiving those allocations meant for the local government. And in a lot of the instances, he gave an example of where, for example, a local government is meant to get about 100 million naira. These governors will sit back, cut it into half, and make the local government chairman actually sign that they receive the full amount. And then what that does is puts them in very difficult positions. They can't pay salaries. They can't undertake any infrastructural developments. They can't do those jobs that they have actually been elected to do. And with the balance of that money, what the governors do is they disburse as they deem fit. So it's nothing else more than what they actually stand to benefit from the whole process. It's them wanting to be in control to the extent that that money needs to pass through them and they disburse what they deem fit. So, it's a really terrible thing. I have read on social media, I have read on the internet that these governors are actually the enemies of our people. If anything, they should be doing a lot in their positions to, improve the lot of our people and not to make lives difficult for them. I mean, at the end of the day, people will trade blames and we're quick to call out the federal government, but this is a case in point of where, the governors, as it stands, actually their disposition or this what they have exhibited now just goes a long way to show that, look, the question can be asked, do they really have the interest of the people at heart, or is it just business as usual for them? So it comes down to what people actually stand to benefit. That's nothing can be further from the truth. It's for their personal benefit. Should that money go directly to the local governments, obviously they're not, they will not be eligible or be able to get their cuts. So this can be the only reason why they will even go to the extent. I think in May 2022, they went as far as the Supreme Court. They sued 36 state governors, sued the federal government, and of course, in the same regard, that case was thrown out of court because there was no merit in it. So bottom line is, if we have to, if things have to change, if they had to assent to pass those bills, it just means, they will not benefit from that money going straight to the local government. Obviously, that's the reason that I can see for the opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Nwachukwu, and it's good to see Dr. Vicky, back online. Dr. Vicky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I
Yeah,
can.
okay. So I will come to you now. Some analysts have actually accused, the state governance of killing the local government, because I think it's a better word to use. They've literally killed in any democratic or development, at the local government level. But can we really blame the governors, or we should blame the lawmakers in those states? Because at the end of the day, the bills were rejected at the states, assemblies. Are we going to blame the governor, or we blame the lawmakers? In your opinion, Dr. Vicky?
Uh, who do we blame? We blame all of them together because I believe probably in a way they're working together to kill, to steal, and to destroy. So they're in it together, So they're rubbing each other's back one way or the other. So in my own the way I see it, they both we need to blame both of them. The government, the governance, and the governors and the lawmakers. Yes, all the time we point fingers to the head. Oh, it's the head of state. It's Buhari. It's Buhari. Well, in cases like this, we need to stop and see even those that are leading here in this state, Lagos State, in Osun State, in this state, what are they doing? This is one of the things that we can see clearly, that they are the ones that are not, they I mean, I grew up in Osun State, and the local government was so active then. They are accessible to the people. People can walk to them, people can do stuff with them, people can ask questions. They are more easily accessible to the people. How many people can walk to the governor's house? How many people can do stuff, and access the governor? No, it's just not on. It's just not on. So if we are blaming, I believe we need to blame all of them because they are kind of working together to kill local government.
Okay, that's very
Yeah,
good analysis. Sorry, Mr. Washiko.
yeah. If I may add in that space, I think let's not. If you think about the politics of godfatherism in Nigeria, and we can then understand why the bulk of the blame should actually go to the governors. If let's scenario if the bill at the point where the bills were still being looked at and being deliberated by the state assemblies, the 36 state governors, instituted a court case against President Mohammed Buhari. It just tells you their interest level. You also let's not, these guys wield a lot of influence over their state assemblies. In a lot of the instances, they have their party men are usually in majority, and it's quite easy for them to influence the National Assembly, I mean the State Assembly members, to the extent of uh, actually getting them to reject these bills. Yes, the State Assembly members should ideally know the right thing to do. The fact that they can leave themselves open in that way to be influenced by the governors leaves much to be desired. But everyone gets gets the blame, but the bulk of the blame goes to the governors who outrightly from the start, from the get-go, rejected this bill. So quite easy for them to influence their state assemblies to also reject the bills.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Washuku. And still on that same topic, some have argued that the local government chairman or the local government administrators that are very corrupt. People have argued that there's a need to maintain some level of control over the local governments in the country. Do you agree with that arguments that whatever action being taken by the governors is just a way of them maintaining control over the affairs of the local government? Do you share that logic, Mr. Washuku?
Yes, I totally 100% share that logic. There needs to be some level of control. But what I do not agree with is, the monies passing through the state government, before actually being disbursed to the local government chairman. Now, I do agree. A lot of them are corrupt. They are also guilty of the same accusations where I'm laying on the governors. But if they meant well, if the governors actually meant well, exercising or imposing a sort of control or a check on the local government chairman doesn't necessitate that you first of all receive the money. Let the money go to them directly, and then you can put something in place to check that they're actually spending that money for the benefit of the people and spending that money judiciously. Yes, there needs to be control, but the manner of control is what I don't agree with. Control doesn't mean like President Buhari said it on national TV that these guys are actually cutting back half of the funds that are meant to go to the local governments. That's not control. That's actually stealing for them. Is an opportunity for them to get a cut of the pie, and therefore impoverishing our people the more. I do agree that there needs to be control, but control doesn't mean you keep part of the money back.
Okay, thank you. I think the bigger picture is just more around at different levels. You see leaders turning themselves to demigods, and that is what you see, and that is what has become so entrenched within our system that it's become normal that people don't
micromanaging.
Yeah.
Micromanaging.
Is I would think even it's beyond micromanaging. I would think it's even just people imposing themselves and they are gods to themselves, and it's just a way of you see the courage, the body language, the way they talk. They don't talk like people that are really answerable to the people. They don't talk like people that are even answerable to the national or local assembly. Once they get there, they just too much power. It's just so much, and that leads me to the next question. And I think in a way we're just trying to just bounce off ideas. How do we, considering everything that we know about these governors and their powers and the influence they have over their state assemblies and the local government, do we now safeguard? Because we still need to try and safeguard the local government, which is the closest to the people. When we were in school, we enjoyed local government. When we were growing up in our different local governments as young men and young lady. In Dr. Fiki's case, we enjoyed local facilities and things that were provided at the local government. And I'm not really sure if anything they do now. So tapping from your experience, I mean, we need to give some international, and I'll provide a bit of context around that. If they're talking about control, we're talking about, not just giving too much power to the local government. A good example of what we do in Australia, I'm not so sure about other jurisdictions, is that at the local level, they have a CEO. They have like an administrator apart from the elected councillors that make the laws and do everything. They have an administrator or a CEO of each council that provides all the leadership and management. Will you really consider that? Is there anything we can learn from that in trying to safeguard the local government and the level of control the state's governors have on them? I'm sure it's a bit of double-barreled question, Dr. Vicky.
Mr. Wale Olaito, I look at the situation of our country and it just makes me sad. It is a place whereby, like I've said it just before, that everyone that has a little bit of power want to show it off and want to ride over everybody else, even no matter how little. So the governors are saying they've got to monitor and they've got to manage the local governments because they mismanage or whatever. So who's watching them? Now, we look at where we are right here in Australia, and we look at the way the local government they provide so much support to the community. And I mean, you look at all that they do, it's quite, I mean, each local government here have places that kids can play, childcare centers, and all sorts, and each of them are being looked after because each of these local government do have their own leadership. They have their own CEOs that manages all this and they are accountable. I went to visit a friend just before I traveled, and in their environment, that was in Cranbourne, they have overgrown grass, in public areas. And people were saying this is just not right. And my friend picked up a phone and called the local government council to say, what's going on? The grass in front of my house hasn't been mowed for a few weeks now and it's overgrown. You won't believe it. The following day, they sent people to mow the grass. That is them being active. That is them, being accountable to people within the community. So there are ways of managing this and doing it better. But you know what? Even by the time these local government leaders, when they get the money and you get a CEO, from which money? Money that is not even enough for them to distribute and keep into their own pockets. So there are many things that needed to be done. Somebody, big brother, need to keep watching and keep punishing those that are not doing it right. People are getting away with little things, no matter how little they are getting away, no matter how big they are getting away with it, nobody's getting punished. No wonder. All this corruption, all this, I don't care attitude is so rampant. People don't care because nobody's getting into trouble for doing the wrong thing. Nobody cares. So, yes, following in footsteps or learning from people that are doing it right will have been the best way to go. But before we can actually do that and implement any of those, there are things that needed to come into place first. Money meant for the community has to go to the community. Money meant to be, meant for community development has to go there, not to in an individual's pocket. And if you are found to be doing something wrong, what do? We all agree. We punish the person. That's my take, Mr. Wale.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicky. And look, just listen to this conversation. I actually, I look back at when I was in the need for local government to be closer to the people and also to make provisions in areas. And what we did at the time, in response to Baba Sakwe, we had some elders that we call them Baba Sakwe because, like Papa, they agreed and make decisions on a lot of areas. And we were tired of Baba Sakwe. We said, look, we have to take our destinies in our hands. And what we did at the time was to look for some of our brothers, a few of older ones that at the time we felt that the solution to the problem was to get young graduates to get into that position of power, because based on our analysis, we felt that most of people that have represented our people at that local government level, by the time they get to Ota, which is a bigger town under our local government, at the time we felt that they couldn't really represent us well because they are not really confident or they are not educated enough. So we sent 3 people, graduates of very good universities in Nigeria, and they were very promising, at a stage initially. But towards the end, there was this lack of accountability because we were the one we had it Youth Initiative Movement. That was the name of our group. By the time we initiated all the most campaign and everything, we came down from our universities to campaign. It was more like university union activism that we were doing at the time. And it was very new to the community, and they voted for our candidates. They all won. But the key issue was still around accountability, and the key issue was still around, is it a matter of having really educated people to really develop the place, or we just need good leaders? Now, in our experiment at the time, my conclusion was that the result that we saw, there wasn't any correlation in terms of their degrees of education. There wasn't any correlation. It doesn't really translate to any development for our community. Many of them became just like the Baba Sokpes that we actually voted out. They became more about power and control and trying to live large. So again,
that is exactly the problem. We have the leaders that we have. Those leaders, they just didn't fall off from somewhere. They're from amongst us. Why is it that when they don't get there, they become this monster, untouchable, unreachable? Why? What's going on? So we need to go deeper in our culture, in how we do things, in how we praise people, even though we don't even know where they get that money. There are things that we need to change.
Thank you, Mr. Washu.
Yes. I was just. Do you have a question for me, or?
Yeah, okay. I thought you wanted to respond. I have a question for you.
Yeah. So
okay.
My view on this is the fact that with the scenario you painted, your university graduates, you obviously thought they were going to do better than the Baba Sokpes, and then they got in there. Look, I think the case is sometimes, people may have had the good intentions to go there and do good by their people, but there's a bigger evil that they have to contend with when they get into those positions. I know of a scenario, just like a young person assumed the position of authority and actually meant to do good. This person had a sort of godfather who helped them ascend to that position, and everything was official. Wanted to go by the books and do the right thing. The guys he met on ground rang his mentor who helped him secure that position to say to him, you need to warn this young fella. You need to because this young fella is not playing ball. You need to educate him to make him understand how things are done here. So you can see that's an example of where someone has gone in to do the right thing, but again has been influenced by the system. So it's either you do their bidding the way they want things done, or you get out. So some instances that could be, a scenario that would have played out in the background that you and I may not be aware of. So yeah,
Yeah.
that happened.
Thank you. So moving forward, so the decisions, and the bills that are going to President Buhari, some of the provisions, control the governor's control over airports and control over power. Honestly, do we really have things to be cheerful for? And also, how confident are we? I know you are not President Buhari, but how confident are we going down from? How confident are we that the president will for him?
How confident are we that what? How confident are we? Dr. Vicky, did you hear the question?
Yeah,
No, I didn't
how
hear
confident
that
are we that what?
That President Buhari will assent to the bills before him. Should we be expecting any parting gift from the president in terms of his legacy? And I'm sure, we have to look into his recent history to be able to really, have a guess of what you expect from the president.
Yeah. So when the the Ninth National Assembly took office, as part of their legislative agenda, they promised to repeal the offending provisions encumbering our democracy by reworking and giving Nigerians a progressive document that will that will work for our people. Now, I also have heard comments from President Muhammad Buhari alluded to the fact that he wants to do good by the people before he leaves office. He wants to leave a legacy. This could well be one of the legacies that he wants to he wants to leave for our people. I have no doubt that he will do the right thing. I know some things have occurred during his tenure that we actually blamed the president for. That those who haven't got the opportunity of seeing or knowing what actually transpires in within his cabinet. I've heard comments, people making comments around, the president wants to do the right thing. He delegates, of course, his cabinet members or those who report to him to do, right by our people. But his problem is that, from what I read, from what I heard, that he doesn't have that habit of following through. He tends to trust these individuals and giving them a free run, and then they end up messing up the process. So, in terms of whether he's going to do right by people, I believe, I believe he'll be assenting those bills. His outcry alone, with this rejection of the bills, the state the local government autonomy bills, his outcry alone tells me that he actually means well. I mean, we haven't even mentioned the fact that about 9 states have not even, I don't know, as a last count, have not even looked at the bill or provided their feedback or whether they're rejecting it or accepting it to to the National Assembly. So this man, our president, wants to do good, but the problem is, again, there are forces, working against those good intentions. So I do believe that he'll be assenting to those bills that are before him.
Thank you, Mr. Onwashiku. So we having our regular viewers and some others, with their comments, to low felicity, thank you for your comments. Caller Day Blessing, thanks for your, so because I will read, sure, when they get there, they change totally. they were once like we. So that was Blessing Colade commenting about how people changed once they are within the corridors of power. Tolu Felicity, legacy of no fuel, light, and money. So that's Tolu Felicity there commenting about President Buhari, legacy. Um, so we move on. So we've extensively analyzed some of the issues and some of the problems as like we try to do. I'll still come back to some of those comments, more comments and reactions from our viewers. But as we try to do, we try to analyze the problems. Some of the problems, were known to Nigerians, but we try and be solution focused. So how do we get out of this, present situation? How do we, get it look like a very complex situation? I'll start with Dr. Vicky. I know you are still somewhere on the road.
Yes,
How do
I'm
we
so
bring back those things that you experienced growing up in Elisha, and what my brother always enjoy growing up in Lagos, and what I enjoy growing up in my hometown in Adodo, Ogun State, at that grassroots level. How do we, uh, progressively go back and make sure that the local governments, they can get some degree of autonomy to do their functions in terms of and also considering their closeness to the people. That is the closest people can get and feel the government. What are your thoughts, Dr. Vicky?
I believe the power should be in people's hands. That is, people within communities need to rise up and ask for what they want. Um, the government, I mean, the governors, they are trying to be, the all in all, without considering the needs of common people, of people in the communities. So, I mean, I knew how it was when I was growing up. There was, community library, there were community centers that we go to and do stuff which are not there any longer, and you know, we have the local government chairman, local government this, local government that, and you see them easily. You talk to them easily. I mean, there was something that happened here yesterday, and I pick up my phone and I call the local government person to say, I need help with this, I need assistance with this. Just like that, they got it done for me. It's not like I can go to Canberra to get things done. So if that's not there, I know things that got done for me quicker wouldn't have been possible, because it would take time for somebody in Canberra to attend to my call and start doing stuff. It's the same thing over there. So I think it's the people that will need to get up. But it's just unfortunate how we forget and we just keep moving. We're not it's, it's like we have we have other things pulling us, that yeah, this is inconsequential, but it's very important. So I think it's the people that need to rise up to say, yes, we need this, we want this, and one way or the other, the governors will need to just come to the table and talk to them.
Thank you, Dr. Vicky. And I will go to Mr. Nwashiku now on the same, solutions, way out of these, complex, governance issues at the local government level. On mute, please. Mr. Nwashiku, on mute, please.
Yeah, look, there's no justification whatsoever on the part of the governors not to allow the local governments to have the autonomy. I mean, at the end of the day, the scenario we have is they've just turned the local governments into like a rubber stamp.
Mm.
I'm not sure whether there's anything in the
So
law
long.
that will compel, yeah, that will compel, I'm not sure, I'm not a lawyer, but if there was anything in the law that will compel um, the governors to allow the right thing be done, I think that option should be explored. The National Assembly, like I stated prior, when they came in, they had good intentions. They wanted to um, take away, like review our constitution and remove all of those stumbling blocks that have caused issues for our people and for the progress of Nigeria. This is just one of them. They really need to pursue this to a logical constitution. Otherwise, they're just going to feel like the Eighth National Assembly, where a lot of money was expended on their sittings, and Nigerians got nothing out of it. We can only at this stage appeal. I mean, saying the people should rise up, and yes, that's a way to go. In a same climb like where you and I live, that's probably an option. But in Nigeria, where if you have two or three people gather, you have policemen or the soldiers, coming around to people. In some instances, even exterminating them all together makes it really hard. So if there's any legal option out there, that's what I think we should be exploring as a people, to get the governors to come to the table and to accept. This is what happens in any developed country, in any developed place you look at. Like, we've given instances of how the local government works for us here. um, I mean, they're not just working for the people. The local government actually, like our community organization, actually get funded in thousands of dollars from the local government as well, for us to go and do things for our own immediate community, things that we enjoy, things that we can benefit from. They have a way of actually raising their own revenue from different sources. So these are things that could be put in place. Should they be allowed the autonomy, given the responsibility to do to do things that will help them raise funds. But the way it stands right now, with the governors controlling everything, then it becomes difficult again. Even if they had to raise funds, that the governors will sit on. So yeah, the whole thing needs to be rejigged. Legal options for me um, to resolve the impasse. That's what I'll advocate for.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anwajiko. So I quickly summarize what we've discussed. We've spoken extensively about the need for the local governments to have the autonomy, as recommended by the Constitution. They deserve to have the autonomy and be able to do what they are meant to do in terms of being able to provide infrastructure to the government, to the people at the local government level, without the governors lording themselves over the local government chairman. Also, we recognize that there's a need for some level of control, within the local government, because of the, allegation of corruption among the councilmen and their council bosses. But that is a problem, across states, federal and local, government in Nigeria. Why we recognize that there's a need for control and for them to be able to account for the money disbursed by the from the state or federal level. We equally believe that there's a need, for that autonomy, on the part of the local government. That if there's a problem around corruption, that can be looked at in terms of what we have within the law to deal with corrupt politicians across the board. Um, the panelists agree that what we're seeing is a reflection of our society. From the local government chairman to the governor to the people at the National Assembly, they are not aliens. They are people. They are Nigerians, and no matter how we look at it, and we, pointing fingers at Buhari or people at the federal level, most of the problems as a people, we still need to take a good look at ourselves in the mirror and be able to do things differently and do things, that will make life more better for our people. In terms of how do we, Dr. Vicky is of the view that people need to organize, they need to come together, and they need to know that they've got nothing to lose by coming together to fight an oppressive, a government. They need to do the right thing and be able to save themselves. They have the power to do that through their votes and by organizing. Mr. Washuku strongly believes the need to use legal avenues available to be able to challenge, what everyone considers illegality, of the state governance. So on that note, I will say a big thank you to all our viewers and to people that are, for all the comments, and I will hand over to Dr. Vicky to close the show. Over to you, Dr. Vicky.
Oh, it's it has been another great night. And I just pray and hope somebody somewhere will that can listen to this and help see how we see things, because three of us, we've put heads together, we discussed the issues, we talked about options in terms of how to deal with the situation, and which is what we do on this show. So I want to appreciate you, Mr. Wale Lighton, for great moderation work today, and like always, thank you so much. And Mr. Helvis, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining your voice with ours, and let's just keep doing what we do, which is analyzing the situation and providing answers or solution in our own way to whatever the issues are. So to all our viewers, there's been so many comments. I'm not even sure. Some of them were posted there, but we have lots and lots of people contributing their thoughts and their mind to this discussion. So we appreciate you all. Blessing Kola Day, Tolu Felicity, um, Oye Oye Ronke Adepeju, and many, many more. There's so many. So yeah, we appreciate you all. So we'll be back again next Friday at 9:30 Nigerian time, 11:30 Nigerian time, 9:30 Australian time. Sorry, Melbourne time. So until then, you all look after yourselves, and let's come together again next week with another topic, great topic to treat. So you all have a lovely, lovely weekend. God bless. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Mr. Evis, is he frozen? Bye, Mr. Evis. Uh, all right. All right. Bye to all our viewers. Bye. God bless. Bye. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Good